This time, I recognize the gentleman from Missouri, Mr. Long, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you all for being here today. When we started this hearing, I didn't have this document in my hand, and I represent the 7th District in Missouri, which is Springfield, Joplin, Branson, Missouri. And we've got a lot of successful businesses that germinated there. Bass Pro Shop started from nothing and has become what it is today. O'Reilly Automotive, which is across the United States, very successful company. We have a great medical community there, a lot of successful businesses, and a lot of people that just want to raise their kids in a good part of the country. Have a good job, raise their kids, have a nice place to raise their family. And I saw in my notes today, my little handy-dandy pocket card here, that the city of Springfield was coming to see me today, and I thought that's great. They think enough of me to come and talk to me about some issues that they have pressing. I'm glad they came to Washington to see me, but they didn't come to Washington to see me. They came for a conference. And the reason they came to this conference, there were 2 cities in the United States that were invited to the conference to speak on this. One was Richmond, Virginia. The other was Springfield, Missouri. And the reason is they have done such a good job, such a forward-thinking job with these different issues that we're discussing here today. I want to read you just a little snippet of what we have and then kind of ask your all suggestion on something. But this is from Mayor Bob Stevens, Mayor of Springfield, Missouri. Affordability and unfunded environmental mandates. Now, like I say, you can think what you want about things, but I stepped off in the side room here and got this at our meeting. I couldn't run back to my office and meet him over there, so I was required to meet him here due to time constraints. Affordability and unfunded environmental mandates. As you know, the city of Springfield, Greene County, and Springfield City Utilities have been working cooperatively to develop a proposed integrated plan framework that would foster a more holistic approach to the various unfunded EPA environmental mandates that all communities are facing: wastewater, stormwater, drinking water, air quality, and solid waste. Our integrated plan framework attempts to consider all of these issues together instead of each one separately, and to focus resources where the community can achieve the biggest bang for the buck. We appreciate your efforts to ensure that future unfunded environmental mandates must be affordable for the community and the citizens. Now, one of the things that they did in this report that they're in here in Washington, and we're honored enough to be thought of highly enough by the conference to be one of 2 cities, is they did the math. I know you all are constitutional scholars and such, but I don't know how your math is, but the math that they did was over the next 15 to 20 years, these unfunded mandates from the Environmental Protection Agency are only going to cost each individual in my district a little over $46,000 per person over the next 15 to 20 years. So I guess I'll start here with Professor, is it Revesz? Do you have any suggestions what I tell the folks back home about these?
Well, it's a little hard for me to comment on a document that I haven't seen, but I can tell you from my experience, one of my areas of expertise is the cost-benefit analysis of environmental regulation, and I actually care a lot about having the benefits of environmental regulation exceed the cost, and I'm a big proponent of the use of cost-benefit analysis to justify environmental regulation, which sets me apart from actually the vast majority of environmental law professors in this country who don't like it as much as I do. But I can tell you that often these early cost estimates turn out not to be accurate.
And they're usually low, aren't they?
No, actually, empirical studies show that initial cost estimates tend to be higher than the ultimate costs are, and there's a good reason for that. Initial estimates are generally made on the basis of sort of current end-of-the-pipe technology, but there's a great ingenuity in American business, and businesses figure out ways of doing things more effectively and more cheaply, and for that reason, in the end, costs end up being lower than are predicted. There's a lot of debate on cost estimates. There's huge variance. And each of those estimates should be submitted to serious peer review by serious experts. And I would take well-conducted cost estimates very seriously. But I would caution.
And I hate to interrupt you, I'm about out of time, but Johnny Morris, the owner of Bass Pro Shops, has a saying, we all live downstream. We all do live downstream. We want to have a clean environment to raise our family in, whether it's in the Ozarks or Washington, D.C. or the state of Washington. We all want a good, clean environment. But unless you own Bass Pro Shops or you own O'Reilly Automotive or one of these businesses and our medium income is under the $46,000 a year, it's pretty tough to explain to the folks back home that you got to put a cup in the stormwaters that passes through Springfield and dip it and make it palatable in some of these ridiculous regulations. I think I'm over my time. I was going to yield some time back, but I don't have any, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
The gentleman yields back. At this time, recognize the gentleman from New York, Mr. Tonko, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.